Hey, I'm back, guys. I know it has been a couple months. It has been, you guys don't know, it's honestly been like the hardest months of my life. I'm barely at my house, so I don't have any time to really film this. This is the first time that I'm getting actually a couple of days off in a row from work to even do a video before I pretty much am not home ever. So yeah, I'm trying to get a video in for you guys. So I know the event happened in October. I know it's about to be January. By the way, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I'm gonna drop a sports video for you guys after this, but this one is gonna be focused on the new M3 line, M3 Pro, M3 Max that Apple dropped in their Scary Hours video. A lot was speculated, a lot was talked about, and a lot has been updated. So I kind of want to give you guys everything that we got and see what your thoughts are on all this, to be honest with you guys. I know that this is a big decision for a lot of you guys. Is how is Apple going to approach the M3 line and how they're going to approach MacBooks going forward? Because as you guys know, we have the MacBook Airs that still have the M2 with the 13 and 15 inch, but we also did have the MacBook Pro 13 inch. Thank God, it's gone, and they replaced it with the M3 MacBook Pro. Honestly, it starts at $1599. Honestly, I'm gonna be really, really transparent with you guys. To me, it kind of killed the Air line, because why would you buy the Air line for $1,000 and it's 1,100 and I believe 1,300 for the 15 inch when you could just spend 1,600, get 120 frames per second screen with the beautiful mini LED, which you don't get in the Air, by the way. More ports, so you have 3 USB-C ports. You also have SD card, HDMI port, and you have MagSafe, and you have a headphone port. It just makes way more sense to go with a M3 MacBook Pro if you're thinking of getting that over an Air. Unless you really don't need peripherals and you're totally fine with just using the MacBook as is, then okay, hey, that could be then the decision that you make. But the M3 Pro is just, the M3 in the MacBook Pro just makes so much sense. And here's some reasons why I think it is such a great option. You have the 16, you obviously have the 14 inch. You also have it in silver. Space black is the new color. Unless you go for the original M3, then you don't get space black. You either get the silver or the regular dark or space gray they used to have. That's the only thing I kind of wish they would have just went all matte black, but that's okay. Here are the 3 chips that they released. By the way, these chips are also going to be going in the Air, not the Pro, the Max, but just M3, but are going to go into the Airs. And then the iPads are also going to get the M3 as well. And then the Mac Studios are obviously going to get the M3 Pro and M3 Max as well. The Max Studio is going to get the M3 Max and the M3 Ultra. The only other thing that's going to get the M3 Pro is only the laptops and the Mac Minis, which should be updated in the beginning of next year, so have no fear. In March, I believe March, they're probably going to do the event. I would have said April if you asked me before this event, but now seeing what everything that's come out, I think they kind of want to rush some of the M3 products out more, because the M2 products flopped so bad for Apple that I think they definitely need a bounce back here with the M3 line. So, and as you guys can see, the M3 has the 8-core GPU, 8-core CPU, 10-core GPU, and then up to 24 gigabytes of RAM, which is better than the, I believe 18 or 20 maybe you got in the M2. So really a lot better. Honestly, if you get 24 gigabytes of RAM with 10 GPU and 8 CPU cores, that's plenty of enough. But if you were going to go that route anyways, I think you should have gone up to the M3 Pro, which has up to 12 core CPUs, 18 core GPUs, 36 gigabytes of RAM. Max gets 128 gigabytes of RAM. First time ever, we're going past the 64 barrier. We have up to 40 cores. First time we're going up to that many cores, where we're usually, I believe, at 32. And then 16, which usually I think the max they ever did was 12 with the M2 Max. Here's some of the things that you could do with this graphical power that's new, game changing. By the way, they do have ray tracing on the chips for every chip, so you will have amazing renderings, lookings, playbacks, and you also have great encoders for the pros and for the Max. You can see here how much faster it is compared to the M1 Max version if you're rendering these type of images, which, like I mentioned, it is amazing that this hardware can have such an accelerated ray tracing abilities and look so good compared to an M1 Max machine. And you can do all this, and it's really fast. Great battery life, up 22 hours. I think it's 1 more hour more than what it used to be. So obviously, great efficiency there. You can see how it integrates with different apps, with software development, photo editing, which, by the way, if you're doing software development, you probably don't need more than the M3 Pro. You don't need a Max for that. Same thing with photo editing. STEM, you could definitely see the Max be pretty helpful. Same thing with graphic design, obviously. Productivity, the regular or the Pro could do that. 3D rendering, you want a Max for that. Music creation, the M3 or the M3 Pro could do this. Video editing, M3 Pro and M3 Max for this one. And then gaming, same thing, M3 Pro or M3 Max is what you would want for that. And you can see some different games that are going to be coming out: Resident Evil Village, Baldur's Gate 3, Stray, Ferment, Myst, Layers of Fear 2023 edition, and you also have Lies of P looking that good natively on the M3 machines. And here's what I meant for if you just get the M3, you're just getting Space Gray Silver. If you get a Pro 14-inch, you only get 18 hours of battery life. I did want to go ahead and make sure everybody, and I mean everybody, understands the difference. If you have an M3 Pro, M3 Max, 14-inch edition, you only get 18 hours of battery life. It's a demanding chip. You're going to get less battery life. Now, if you have the 16-inch model, it's obviously a much bigger computer. You obviously will have the same 22-hour battery life. Again, same M3 and M3 Max. Just wanted to make sure everybody understands that. It's the best display in a laptop. It definitely is close to that. I don't know if it really is, because I've seen some OLEDs that are getting a little bit better, just not as bright, which I do think Apple knocks out the park. Also, you also have your still the same 1080p camera, studio quality mics, 6 sound speakers. That has not changed. These have not changed either. If you have an M3, though, you have the lower speed USBs. C's. If you have the Pros, Max, you get the same. You get the Thunderbolts. You still have the Magic Keyboard with the Touch ID for security reasons, and as you can see, here's some of the things that you get here, and there's just a big difference with the ports for the M2 chip with the MacBook Air 15-inch versus the Pro and 16-inch. So if you wanted to get my spec on this is what I would do. I would opt. First off, I wanted to mention I would get an M3 Pro just for the workflow that I personally do. But set aside that, would I go 14 or 16 inches? That's a big difference, guys, if you guys were wondering why. Because you only get the 11 and 14, which is the binned version, where you can get the unbinned version. The only problem is the RAM is only 18, which I really like 30. I think I have 32 in my current one. It's very interesting. I guess it depends, because the battery life is such a big difference too. That's what kind of makes me like, would love to get an M3 Pro, but I also gotta think of money wise. So I probably would start off with this one, right? Let's start off with it. And I would unbend the chip, probably, I would immediately. No. I wish they had a 32 core option, but I guess I'll stick with 18. 512 is fine. Yes, the 96 watt power adapter. Yeah, and I would get it in this configuration, which is the space black version. So as you can see, mine is $2,200. I just wanted the chip unbend from the 11 core and 14 core GPU to the 12 and 18 core GPU options with the 16 core neural engine. Now, a lot of people would say, oh, well, why not just go up to the max then at that point? Not necessarily a good idea, because not saying it's not a good idea, but it's extremely demanding. It's very hard on a 14-inch laptop to go with a max chip. If you were going to go with a max chip, I think you immediately start off with the 16-inch, because I think you're going to need the better thermals. You're going to need the better, pretty much everything that would come with it. You wouldn't want then anything. You really wouldn't need then a 14-inch laptop. You probably want to go a little bigger, and it would last you longer, obviously, with battery life as well. And especially if you're using the max chip heavily, you do want that to play a role in it. Now, I know another thing that came out as well that you guys probably are wondering is, on the Mac side, the iMac got updated, and obviously we have the same colors that we did before, just now with the M3 chip in it. So, and nothing has changed. Everything's the exact same as the M1, which is why I was a little shocked that they would do this, that it would just be a spec bump. I think Apple really missed the boat there, and I think they could have shrunk the bezels down tremendously. Like, we don't need a white barrier. That could have all been screened there. I digress. I do think, though, that this matters. Okay, so it is $1,300 for this. Don't buy that version. I can tell you that's like the stupidest, worst version you could have bought, because this is the version that that you're gonna at least start with. Okay, this has a fully unlocked chip, and that way 8 gigabytes of memory for me doesn't work. I would have to go up to 16 gigabytes regardless. I would get the Magic Trackpad if I was going to get this, and that is pretty much, I hate that it's 256, but for this type of what you're going to be using it for, I'm sure it's not terrible, because you would use external SSDs for it. But yeah, so mine would cost $1,749 for it. That's with the Magic Mouse. That's with 16 gigabytes. At that point, if you're going to pay that much money, just get the laptop. Dude, just get the MacBook Pro 14-inch with the same thing I got, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and see if you can go up to 512 storage. For $1,700, that would be more worth it, in my opinion, if that's what you were going to go with. That's what I would suggest to you guys, because since you guys can see it here, if I was to do that same one, let's go here, $1,600. I'm only going up $50 more. I get more storage, same RAM, same everything. I could choose if I want the 96 watt power USB power adapter. I don't need it, because it's just it's more of a basic machine, and I'm done. $1,800 I spent. Well, I got this version, right? I can spend another I can get 24 gigabytes. Still doesn't do much. Still doesn't make it more powerful, just to get more RAM. But that's kind of where I wanted to go with it. So that's gonna be it for this video for you guys. I'm gonna be dropping a sports video for you guys as well, so make sure to stay tuned on that. It's gonna be on the playoff matchups that are going to be coming out. So that video will drop tomorrow, but this video is now over. See you guys in the next one. Thank you guys for watching my latest video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.